Rear brakes, we're doing the rotor and the pads. Take a 13/16 socket, and breaker bar didn't fit in here, so I made an extension. If you have a pipe, you could use that, but I made this out of angle stuff and welded it together. It takes a lot of effort to get these bolts off because they have Loctite on them. Alright, so once you undo these two 13/16 bolts, the caliper will just come off like this. And now we're going to set it up here on top of the brake rotor so we don't stretch out this brake line. Pressing out the pads is really easy. Take 2 fingers or whatever, 1 finger. That pad comes out like that. Other pad, you can reach in through the top and press it out this way. And it just unclips. This is a sliding caliper like the front, and what I didn't show you on the front was greasing the slide pins if they need grease. So to do that, we take this bracket and we just pull it down. And this will expose your slide pins. As you can see, there's no grease on these, they're all dried up. So what I'm going to do, take some brake cleaner, put it on a towel, and wipe them down. Get all the old grease off. It's all caked up and dried up in there. Okay, so now our pins are nice and clean. At this point we can take some high temperature grease up the pins. We're going to put all this grease on here. We want to push the piston back in. We use our tool and we push our piston back in all the way. This just screws in. And you keep doing this until you go all the way back in. Alright, so we are all the way pushed in now. We can take our tool off. Now we need to put this bracket back on. This just slides on, like so. Slides on, and then press it on. Make sure that your seals that cover the grease are correctly seated, these 2 seals. Make sure those seals are also in good shape. Now go ahead and put your pads in. Pin right here goes on the inside of the trailing edge of the rotor. The rotor is going to be going this way, so this is going to be like this. Push the pads in place. Okay, that's that back pad. And I put the other pad in. Now I put the other pad in. We're doing the rotors, I forgot. So we got to get this old rotor off. Now you take your new rotor. First thing you do with the new rotor is brake clean it, because it has all this oil on it. Oil is no good for your brakes. So then you take this and you put it on. It fits on nicely. You press it on there, and then you take your caliper, take your bolts, put a little dab of Loctite on them, and then you put them in the back. Okay, just like that. Those big bolts, you torque them down to 125 foot-pounds, just like the front. Put a little dab of Loctite on. I don't use red Loctite, although it looks like that was what was used, and that might have been why they were so hard to get off. But that's it. That's the brakes. Now all I have to do is go ahead and bed these guys in. Now before you take off, before you drive the car, press the pedal to get your pads seated against your rotors. Sometimes you'll take off and your pedal will go to the floor, and that's because you spread your calipers and your pads are not contacting your rotors. And also another tip, when you do this, of course, is always check the master cylinder, because you don't want to overflow it and cause damage to paint up there by having brake fluid spill on your car. But yeah, that's it. These brakes are very easy to do. Thank you for watching, and enjoy your Corvette.